Hi guys, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about this, ECH2O. ECH2O is a waterless wash and quick detailer, but today we're going to be using it as a rinseless. So after 5 years of doing these videos, it's funny which ones get all the comments and which ones don't. And I did this as a waterless wash because literally that's what it's called, waterless wash and quick detailer. I did a video on that. And it says right on the bottle, dilute 1 to 10 to 1 to 15 with water, spray liberally across an entire panel, wipe with a microfiber, spray ECH2O across the surface once more, using a fresh microfiber, wipe again. Like, I went through the instructions as labeled, and I had a bunch of people come out in the comment, using it as a waterless, face palm, rinseless, do it at 200 as a rinseless, do it 200 as a rinseless. It's on the site, it's this, that, like, every time I'm testing a product, I'm going to treat it like I am a consumer. I don't do a bunch of research ahead of time. I don't watch a bunch of videos ahead of time. I don't go and read a bunch of instructions ahead of time. I don't look for other reviewers' content ahead of time. I get the product, I read the bottle, I use it as directed, and I see what the experience is like. And I do an honest video on that experience, which is what I did. Then, if I have a bad experience with a product, I try to figure out what I could have done to make it better, like in that video where I added more water and I did one single panel at a time. And then I go from there, right? Because I don't want to trash a product. And as a line, I've done now 5 videos on CarPro products. I like almost every single one of them. Clarify worked well. I liked Inner QD. Pearl and Dark Side worked well. Retire works well. Really, the only ones I didn't like were the Clay Lube and Spotless. Because Spotless I found ineffective, and the Clay Lube I just don't think you really need. But anyway, a bunch of people came out in the comments. Some were constructive, some were not, talking about using this as a rinseless. So I went online to see where I could find this. And if you go to carpro.global, which is their official website, CarPro corporate website, does not say anything about 1 to 200 or rinseless. It gives you the same instructions that are on the bottle. If you go to AutoGeek, same thing, no instructions about rinseless. If you go to the House of Rags, same thing, no instructions about rinseless. Clean Garage, same thing, no instructions about rinseless. CarPro-US, which is Sky's the Limit Car Care, does give you a 200 to 1 rinseless dilution. So does Car Supply's Warehouse, and I found one other website that did as well. So I checked 8 websites, 5 didn't mention rinseless at all. Amazon also did not, even though it's like an official CarPro store, so I think it's from Sky's the Limit. So 5 did not, and 3 did of 8 websites that I checked, including carpro.global, their official website. At the very least, it is a branding problem and a labeling problem that is not consistent to all of their distributors or their bottles themselves if this does work well as a rinseless. And we're gonna try it today. So inside this bucket right here, I have 10,000 milliliters of water measured with my Koshchemi pitcher, which is a 4,000 milliliter pitcher. It's got markings on the side. 10,000 milliliters of water, 50 milliliters of ECH2O. That works out to my 200 to 1 dilution ratio, which is what they're recommending. Many rinseless products are 256 to 1. Some are 384 to 1. Some are going 512 to 1 at this point. 256 is the pretty standard, safe number that everybody seems to like. And then a lot of those rinseless products can be run at like 128 to 1 or 64 to 1 as a clay lube or a waterless wash. And I'm aware of all of this. But again, I'm reading the bottle, following the instructions. I'm acting like a consumer because I don't want to have a different experience than what you have. I want to have the same experience that you're going to have buying this and using it. So we'll fill up our sprayer. 260 solo sprayer. A little bit over half, it's probably all we need. And we can spray the car. This car isn't that dirty. Usually isn't. Pretty similar to when I use the waterless wash. So let's hit a big section of car here, kind of everything that you can see well on camera. Get over here, get that, all of it. And we'll grab our sponge. And I expected something like this to actually be the case, that I'm probably gonna like this. Because when I took the ECH2O and I went 1 to 15, and I did a single panel, it wasn't bad. I still like DIY's Waterless Wash better. I still like Adapt from Armor Detail Supply better. It wasn't bad. When I added more water and rinsed off the Waterless Wash, I also had a decent experience. So we're just kind of going panel by panel. And apologies, I haven't done many videos this week. I had family in town, and also I screwed up my back. So Thursday morning, I woke up and basically couldn't walk. And then Friday, Saturday, I spent in bed. And today, I'm feeling a little bit better, but I'm also trying to take it easy. So I went from about 12,000 steps a day. Yesterday I did like 1,100. So kind of screwed myself up. But I'm trying to take it easy and work through this. It's kind of a bummer because I had the week off and I was hoping that I would get a bunch of videos done and in queue so that when I went to SEMA, I would have some content, and it didn't really work out like I planned. So, car's pretty clean. Usually need a couple dunks. So, this isn't bad. Slickness on the sponge isn't bad. Let's check out the cleaning of the sponge. Also not bad. Scent not bad. I want to call it it's not my favorite. There are some that I like better. It does have a little bit of streakiness to it I'm seeing on like the glass and the black. But let's go over it with a drying towel. I'm just going to hit these same areas that I just did. Normally you'd do the whole car all at once, but I want to try to keep this video as short as possible. But yeah, this is working well. A little bit of streakiness on the glass. Flip the towel over, hit it again, buffs right off. So, yeah. Again, I think I would rather, if I was doing rinseless, I think I would rather Hero. I would rather Clean Tool. I would rather Nemesis. Some of the other DIY rinseless feet too. I think those perform better than this. Just a little bit less streakiness. It doesn't have a high slickness either. Normally when something's streaky, I expect slickness because that to me means that there's something that's being left behind. But I don't think so. Well, maybe there is. I think there's something left behind. It's just not quite as slick as I would normally expect. So I think if you really like slickness the way that I do, I think you're going to end up going over this with Elixir, which is a CarPro product that I had never tried before. And it actually works really, really well. I tried it on a water wash, and I also tried it in the other waterless video. And I like what it leaves behind as a drying aid, quick detailer. I like this way better as a quick detailer than I liked ECH2O as a quick detailer, we'll say that. So yeah. As a rinseless, that actually works really well. It's not my favorite, but it's, you know, probably one of those like tied for fifth kind of things, you know? I'd call it like if we're doing the tiers, it's like S tier, A tier, B tier. It's probably like a B tier product. There are some that I like a little bit better, but it worked well. Bugs wiped right off. Dirt came right off. A little bit of streakiness, a little bit of extra effort required in the buff off section, but feels like there's something left behind, but it's not the slickest thing in the world. I like slick, it's just what I'm into. So it would not be my preference, but it's totally usable. It's way more usable as a rinseless than it is as a waterless, in my opinion. So I've had very few products that I didn't like on the channel, or I didn't try to find a way to make them work. Well, I tried to find a way to make all of them work, honestly. I've had very few products I didn't like on the channel. I'd say the one that really comes to mind is Purist P3. I hated that. I hated it once, I hated it twice, I hated it 3 times. And then I actually refused to sell it on secondhand detailing. I gave it to somebody for free and told them that I was giving, that I had problems with it and to try it at their own risk. This is not that, right? We'll always try to give a product a fair shake and to make sure that I'm being fair with it. But if you follow the instructions and you have a bad experience, why would you lie about that? And why would somebody have to do a bunch of research to find the right way to use a product or the best way to use a product and have that not just be on the bottle? It doesn't make any sense to me. So this is an off-label use, period. And it is better than the on-label use, 100%. It's a better experience, better overall. But you know, it's frustrating to me that they didn't include this on the label. They don't say, here's a waterless, here's a quick detailer, here's a clay lube, because they give you that too, 40 to 1. Here is a rinseless. So I think that this as a rinseless actually, like I said, it's pretty darn good. Follow it with elixir. I think you'll really like it. You'll end up with something that's nice and slick and hydrophobic. And it's going to get you what you would expect out of a modern day rinseless. It does, like I've said about the rest of the CarPro line, feel a little old in that there have been advancements in technology. There are rinselesses that clean better than this. There are rinselesses that leave more slickness behind than this, that leave more protection. It feels in the middle, but I think that it could be, you know, I look at this compared to Hero and I would much rather use Hero, which is Armor Detail Supply product. I would much rather use Clean Tool. I think both of them have superior cleaning power and superior slickness to this. But that being said, it did a good job. So that's all I have for today. I thank you for coming by. I thank you for watching. I hope that you're having a great day. And I think next we'll be doing, what do I have left? I have Reload, Bug Out, Hydro, and MFX left to test. So my goal would be to do Hydro and Bug Out on Isabella's rental car. And then we'll test out Reload. I don't know that we'll get to MFX, and then we'll do like the full line wrap up. So far the line has been good. Everything in the line has been good. The ones that I really, like I said, the one I really didn't find effective was Spotless. It got demolished by a couple other products in that same test. And you know, Trix and Iron X are both effective, but there are more effective products. Everything else has been really, really good. So that's all I have for today. I thank you for watching, and I hope that you're having a great day.